I'll be talking about how Christianity is a channel, an outlet for the Western man, for the Faustian ideology, and that it was an attunement to the West, not necessarily of the West, and we can see in its lineaments its foreign nature, which is proved by the emancipation of current Western society from Christianity and its principles and its doctrines, more or less. And then I think from this we can then tell what the true Western spirit is, given that we've oscillated between several types of religious and spiritual activities over the past 2,000 years. The latest being a long period of staunch Christianity, both Catholic and then Protestant, and other sort of sects more or less propping up here and there. So what we can say by this is that belief in something spiritual, something more, has always been necessary for the Western mind set, and that we can appreciate that while science advances, the mystical and unknowable knowledge in the world becomes much, much smaller, and therefore the reliance on Christianity to explain away some or all of the variables and scenarios in life becomes smaller, and so it reigns in its authority into a more spiritual sphere, which we can then say, okay, well, if that's the case, is it still necessary for it to exist, given that spirituality is more of an ephemeral concept, sort of has this really nebulous understanding, principles that we can't quite pin down, and some of us who wouldn't call ourselves Christian would then feel like we're not less in tune with reality or metaphysics or any type of, I'm not sure, spiritual plane that they think exists. So it's a hard ask for many of us to reconcile these non-Christian beliefs with the idea that there's an extra plane of reality or some sort of removal from the body to a point where there's some spirit which engages us. So what that means, I guess, for us is that we can look at, okay, well, if the existence of Christianity is just an affectation of the Western spirit, and it's a way for us to channel our ideas and our beliefs and our lives. So obviously we live on the moral principles of Christianity much of the time, which before then were obviously either social principles or unformulated religious principles from other prior Christian religions. So this, like I say, enables us to then finally come to the crux of the matter, which is whether or not there is a Christian necessity to the Western man, and I think there isn't. There is a clear evidence that the West, before and after Christianity, has thrived in several different ways, either artistically, culturally, or technology, or economically, things like that, and that this post-Christianity period is more of a tragic happenstance, or coincidence maybe, that it happened to come with the decline of the West. I don't think the decline of Christianity is causal in its relation to the decline of Western civilization. I think it's a correlation, and they're probably multivariate cofactors in this. So to me, it seems a easy and lazy excuse perhaps to say that, oh well, the decline of Christianity is coinciding with the decline of Western society, therefore one must mean the other, and that way if we clasp onto these last vestiges of Christianity, we may well just save the Western culture. And I think that would be foolhardy and hubristic, and there's no way to be able to reconcile modern life with the Christian way of thinking, the Christian way of doing things, because the morals are substandard for current, well, they were substandard for the time that they were in, so they're well obsolete by the time it comes to having any moral dilemmas. And so I had no compunction in saying that we have no need for Christianity at this point in time. Now, whether or not you believe Christianity in itself offers something, or being a Christian offers you something is a separate conversation. I think belief in God can be very personal, but being a Christian is a very social activity, and therefore there is a certain mindset which comes with this collective tribalistic belonging, and so that can be important, but the necessary intellectual justification for Christianity itself is not necessarily an important component of that. So proponents for Christianity will obviously argue that that's inseparable, perhaps, or that the God that God exists and that Jesus was his messenger is something that speaks to them in how to live their life, and they justify their morals thusly. However, it's a bit weak for me because reliance on someone else's moral underpinnings and postulations leaves us to be very lazy when it comes to moral reasoning for ourselves in our own situations. So haphazardly applying these laws that we get given as though they're inviolable is probably one of the more dangerous outcomes from hardcore Christianity. I mean, any religious belief, to be fair, but in Christianity in the West, given that obviously Christianity is more of a Western product than any other religion is, say Judaism or Islam or Hinduism, or foreign, alien to the Western mind.